And welcome back to Hannity and Colmes. I'm Sean Hannity. Still to come, well, you won't believe what former CBS anchorman Dan Rather wants to do. Now we're going to give you an update on the scandal that just won't go away. First, a provocative new documentary takes you inside Senator John Kerry's failed presidential campaign. It gives you a brand new, and some would say an embarrassing glimpse at the Massachusetts lawmaker. Let's take a look.
The president got $84 from a timber company that he owns, and he's counted as a small business.
I own a timber company? That's news to me. You need some wood?
Do you need some wood? That's weird. Timber company?
What the was he talking about?
Joining us now, the director of Inside the Bubble, Steve Rosenbaum. That's fun. That was Hillary's direct reaction when...
You know, people have said both. People say, well, who's she reacting to? Is she, I mean, I don't.
What do you think?
I don't think anyone's ever sorted out the whole timber company thing. Does anyone know what that was about?
I have. Alan, do you know?
No.
It just came and went. Everybody kind of went, huh?
Yeah. What was that?
Well, you know, the campaigns are like that, though. I mean, things happen pretty quickly, and that's part of what the movie's about.
What did you discover about John Kerry? You know, when you follow somebody behind the scenes and in that pressure cooker, and I wouldn't wish it on anybody.
Yeah. You know, I have to say, I've seen him speak 50 times. I've shaken his hand a couple of times. I don't know the man. I don't know him well.
Is anybody? Is he cold?
You know, I don't think that's what the movie's about. And part of why I made the movie was because first I thought I was making a movie about the guy who was going to be president of the United States. And that would have been a great ending, by the way. You know, I would have been great.
So you're a liberal, all right.
Yeah, by the way, I think I've already put that out in the paper, so there's no surprise.
But apparently they're kicking themselves for cooperating with you now, according to the New York Daily News.
You know, ever since the War Room, anyone who's on a campaign knows that if a tree falls in the forest and you don't hear it, so if you're working on the campaign and you're inside, do we think we're going to win? Do we want someone to take pictures? In the end, I think that this would have been a fabulous documentary for everyone involved if they'd won. And now I think it's an important film because they didn't.
What would the American people, and I haven't had a chance to get the film, I'm going to get my copy, I want to see it. What will they learn about John Kerry that they didn't know before? What side of him, like when nobody's looking, does he curse a lot? Does he?
No. You know,
Alan does. It me usually.
I think that what you learned from the film was that this was a campaign in which the goal was to say as little as possible. I mean, you know, part of it's the media. We talked about this. Yeah. You know, I mean, there's cameras on you all the time. You can't get a hair out of place. You can't scratch your nose.
And it's there.
And so at the end of the day, I really think that what you get is a guy who literally knows that he needs to look right all the time and be on message all the time.
Is there self-consciousness about that? You talk about a protective cocoon, I read.
Yeah, but I don't know that that's him as a person, or that's not the decision that was made about how to run the campaign.
In other words, he knows that camera's always on him, period. Yeah. Now, when we're looking, for example, that's his team behind the scenes during this debate part. And what are they saying to each other? They're high-fiving. How are they reacting when they think they're winning? When this particular point that we just showed.
Look, you have to understand, it's a horrible job, and in order to do it with good humor, they're funny, they're good-spirited. The movie is Animal House.
I'm just curious. Did you set them up?
You know, here's the answer to that question. When you make a documentary, everyone says, "What was your agenda?" The agenda was, I'm going to take a camera and I'm going to see what I see.
Were you pro-Kerry or anti-Kerry?
Here, I brought a prop. Ready?
Yeah,
Here,
okay.
I brought a prop. See, this is my DNC membership.
Why is it upside down?
Oh, sorry.
Don't answer that question.
You set that up right there. I was going to go for it.
All right.
Look, I'm a lifelong Democrat, and I was pro-Kerry.
Why does your press release, according to the New York Daily News, your press release on this says the campaign was a disorganized, contentious, self-absorbed team that thought it could win without a position on anything. That's your press release for the film.
When we sat down in the edit room, we had 500 hours worth of footage, and we said, you know what, this was a great race. Let's really get the issues out there. Let's pull out of the speeches what the race was about. And 3.5 weeks later, we had a string of speeches, and we couldn't, you know, I think Jim Loftus, who worked for the campaign, says it better than I do. In the movie, he says, I was with them for 18 months, and I don't know what we believe in.
But the press release indicates that this is not a pro-Kerry piece, that this is going to make them look disorganized. That's what you're selling with this film.
And here's the answer to that question. I don't think this is a pro-Kerry piece. I don't think it's an anti-Kerry piece. I do think one thing's very important, which is the only way the Democrats are going to run a race is if they look at 04 and say, what did we do wrong? And that's a fair question.
That is a fair question. Why are the Kerry people saying no one's going to watch it, this is not good, then they're not happy with you, and they regret that they gave you access?
You know, they haven't seen the movie yet. I think people who've seen the movie and who are pro-Kerry say to me it's fair, and in the end, it's a good thing.
Is it going to change anybody's mind?
I think it's going to open some eyes. I really do.
In what way?
I truly do. Because the process is extraordinarily difficult, and because I think in the end, the Democrats need to have a clearer message if they're going to win.
All right, thanks. Now, where can you see the movie?
It premieres tomorrow night at the New York Television Festival, and then we're talking to people about both theatrical and
send me a
film.
DVD.
I will most certainly do
All
that.
right, thanks. I want to see it. I look forward to seeing it. Well, I want to see what I can use. I mean, I'm sure there's-
1995.
And finally tonight, well, you thought it was over and done with. What tonight? There is another development in another Texas political scandal, and we'll tell you about the latest in the CBS Memogate story and Dan Rather next.